Hi guys. So when I was checking the video of the pons, I found out that I did not show you guys the nuclei of the cranial nerves related to pons in the myelin-stained section. So I thought of adding the levels of pons and midbrain as well with from a very nice website so that I can show you the things that I feel that I didn't mention, and that will be also a recap for you guys to know what you need to look at in the exam question when when you get these sections. So like we said, you guys, we have levels, all right? And everyone knows how to identify things in the spinal cord and medulla. And you guys know that in the medulla, moving from down to up, we have the pyramidal decussation level, and then we have the sensory decussation level, and then we have our butterfly. We talked about the cranial nerves, the last four cranial nerves, and the cranial nerve nuclei related to them. Now, like we said previously, as we move, let's now move now from up to down. You remember that number 1 and 2 were related to the cerebral cortex. It's not of our concern. And then we said 3 and 4 related to midbrain. So 3 is supposed to be found at the level of superior colliculus and midbrain. And then 4 is supposed to be seen in the level of inferior colliculus, which is the trochlea, trochlear nerve 4. And then in the pons, we have upper level and lower level. So because we're moving from down to up in the lower level, I'm expected to see 6, 7, 8. All right. And 5 is at the upper level. So if we move from up to down in the midbrain, 3 upper level, 4 lower level, 5 in pons upper level, 6, 7, 8 lower level. All right, and we talked about the last four cranial nerves previously. Now, and because you know, guys, that when we teach in neuroanatomy, we move down to up. All right, so we're gonna start with the lower level. So remember, what did we say about the lower level? We said I already explained to you this in a diagram, but I didn't show you that in a myelin-stained section. So I added new pictures, and I want just a recap for you guys. So everyone knows the story of the transverse pontine fibers. Now let's look at the back. Remember when I told you that we have the nerve that winds around the other nerve, creating the facial colliculus, because this is the lower level. So once you guys see the story here, you know you are at the pons. All right, and when you look at the back, you want to know you are at which level. If you can see a nerve that is emerging from the dorsal aspect, this is the fourth ventricle because this is the cerebellum. All right, and you can see a bulge, it means this is the facial colliculus. And you guys know that the nucleus means it's white, nerve it's black. If I can see a nerve that is winding, this is facial nerve number 7, and its nucleus is deep here. All right, like I said to you guys previously. All right, so this is the facial nerve nucleus, and then it winds around and it exits from here. All right, at the pontomedullary junction. Now, it winds around what? It winds around something white. So what is the white that is winding around? It is the abducent nerve nucleus. All right, guys? So the abducent nerve, it's going to be the white thing that your facial nerve is going to wind around. All right, so let me remove here this so you can see here. Okay, so if you guys look at this white, all right, this is your abducent nucleus. Okay, so this thing I did not stress on in the myelin-stained section, although it's very important. This is number 1. Another thing, don't never ever forget your lemnisci. If you can see a black thing in the middle, all right, we're saying here we have a story, motor story, and here we have the cranial nerve story. Don't ever forget your lemnisci in the center. If you can see something in the medial, this is medial lemniscus. All right, if you can see something lateral, it's gonna be spinal lemniscus. Let's go to the next one so it becomes a bit prominent. So this is medial lemniscus. Lateral lemniscus should be quite lateral. It's not labeled here, but it will be shown in the coming slide. Now, here in the upper level of the pons, what do we have? We said that in the lower level 6, 7, and 8. And we talked about 6 and 7, and you guys know the story of the vestibular nuclei. Now, what are we expecting to see here? This is number 5. So I'm expected to see the main sensory and motor nuclei. This is the level of the trigeminal, the main sensory and motor. How will you know them? They are gonna be here at that level, at that part here, laterally. Who's gonna be medial and who's gonna be lateral? M is for motor, medial. The other one is the sensory, lateral. So if I can see white thing here, if I can see this story, I know this is Pons. If I cannot see a winding fibers here, which is the facial nerve winding around the abducens, it means this is not the lower level, this is the upper level. It's a level of the 5th cranial nerve. All right, so I should look at the lateral side. If I can see white stuff laterally, it means this is the trigeminal nerve, because you guys know the trigeminal emerges laterally. All right, so I have white stuff. If the medial one, okay, this is the motor nucleus. If it's lateral, it's gonna be the sensory nucleus. All right. And because trigeminal nerve is mainly sensory, you will guys see that the sensory root is bigger than the motor root. All right, so medially is the motor, sensory is the lateral. Okay, and what you guys have here in the middle is actually your medial lemniscus. Don't forget your lemnisci. Another thing I don't want you to forget, so we have number 1, the motor stuff anteriorly. Number 2, cranial nerve nuclei. Number 3, the lemnisci. All right. The last thing, you guys, don't forget that you will definitely find a decussation. What kind of decussation do we have at the Pons level? It's the decussation of, if we are in the lower level, it's the decussation of cochlear nuclei. Why is it cochlear? Because you guys here, it's related to 6, 7, and 8. So 8 cranial nerve is here, the vestibulocochlear. So the cochlear nuclei are here. So the decussation in the center should be for the cochlear nuclei. Once they decussate, we call the decussation trapezoid body. Once they ascend, we call them lateral lemnisci. All right, so in the lower level, I have decussation. In each level, I have decussation. In this level, I have the decussation of the cochlear nuclei, the trapezoid body. Upper level, I have decussation of superior cerebellar peduncle. All right, because this is the superior cerebellar peduncle. This is another name for it. So here you have the decussation. Okay, and don't forget your lemnisci. Medial lemniscus is very prominent, and in the midbrain you will see the spinal and lateral. All right. Now, if you guys look at the midbrain, okay, you guys know how to differentiate them from the colliculi. Okay, if I can see part of the Pons, it means I'm still down. This is number 1. If I do not see the red nuclei, it means I'm still down. I'm not going to talk about the midbrain. I just want you to see, this is a nice picture showing part of the Pons with you. And remember that here we have the decussation of superior cerebellar peduncles. I just want to stress and highlight upon the lemnisci. If you have lemnisci medially, this is going to be medial lemniscus. All right. If it's very laterally, it's going to be spinal lemniscus. So medially, you have the medial lemniscus. Laterally, you have the spinal lemniscus. Trigeminal, it's not easily found. It's not easy that we can catch the trigeminal. So in midbrain, you are expected to see the spinal laterally and the medial medially. Once you are at the upper level, and where is the lateral? The lateral lemniscus should be here, guys, near to the inferior colliculus. The lateral lemniscus is always found near to the inferior colliculus. All right, so this is lateral lemniscus. So if I have something medially, medial lemniscus, laterally spinal lemniscus, I can see a tract that is taking the auditory information to the inferior colliculus. This is going to be the lateral lemniscus. Okay, don't forget that. And in the level, and of course you know how to differentiate them. This is the level of the superior colliculus. I just want to show you the lemnisci group. Medially medial lemniscus, laterally medially medial lemniscus, laterally spinal lemniscus. Okay, spinal lemniscus. And because this is higher up at the eye level, so that lateral lemniscus has already died. It took the information all the way to the inferior colliculus. I cannot see it here. So the lemnisci group, remember, the most important ones, medial lemniscus and spinal lemniscus. Okay, and then don't forget that we have decussation here, because this is eyes, So this is red nucleus, so the decussation is going to be for the rubrospinal tracts, okay? Other than that, you know that here you have the motor stuff. Other than that, you know the story that the upper level is the level of the the oculomotor nerve, cranial nerve number 3, and so you are expected to see the nucleus of that, and the lower level is at the level of the fourth cranial nerve, so you are expected to see your trochlear nerve nucleus here. All right, and another thing, if you will tell me I don't know also how to differentiate between the lower level of midbrain and pons, I will tell you, look at the ventricles or the ventricular system. Here we have the cerebral aqueduct, all right? So this is a small opening for the CSF. So this is definitely midbrain. If you can see a fourth ventricle, this is a pons. All right, guys, so with that, I'm sure that everyone understands everything about the Myelin-stained sections. I hope that it made your life, sorry, I hope it made your life easy. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next videos.